Alright guys, so welcome back. Time for the finals for week 4 of the European Challenger Cup. And this game and this series is kind of going to just wrap up the entire, my entire feelings on the entire European Challenger Cup this split. You have two teams coming into this one. One team, moonmen, their previous highest victory was the quarterfinals. Today they took out first seed Poppies, 4th seed Elo Fisher, now find themselves sitting in the finals. On the other side of the board it's Myrmidons, previously one third place finish and otherwise quarterfinals or less in previous weeks. Took out first seed, tied for first seed 6 Sigma, and 7th seed Team Illusion find themselves also here in the finals for week 4. EU, it's pretty much still anybody's game, and after this week it's going to be like a, not quite 6-way tie for first place, but pretty darn close to it.
Oh yeah, pretty darn close to it, man. Oh, this is going to be nuts going into the final week. But the teams that we've got in the grand finals, right? Myrmidons are ranked 6th, moonmen are ranked 10th. Moonmen are just making the bottom of that list, right? Just cutting it in. And yet, they're able to compete with the top teams. You know what that bodes well for? That bodes well for us having an incredible series for whoever finishes in the promotional place from the Challenger Cup to go up against any of the teams coming into the relegation spot out of this SPL as well.
Yep, it'll be interesting. There's still group stages, of course, and the actual Challenger Cup finals before that all comes underway. So it's still a little bit off. That said, game 1, picks and bans already in progress. Neath and Mir taken off the table from Myrmidons Moonmen. Athena, and there's one targeted over at Mogal with the Hades ban.
Oh man, Mogal, he went so big on that Hades in the other game. Oh, yeah. I'm interested to see what Jermaine comes out with from his Hunter as well. Because like on the backside, it's going to be, I believe, Loyal Zebra stepping in to take over the Hunter role for the Moonmen, and he's going to get that Xbalanque. They've played very well with the Xbalanque thus far. So, what is Jermaine going to get? What is he going to play into this? Because this is a different person to who's played thus far through the tournament. But then again, the guy that was just playing for Moonmen, he may have been their sub. This Loyal Zebra may be stepping up and be their main. What's your call on this, Shonen?
Loyal Zebra, I believe, is in fact their substitute, so...
Okay.
Perhaps maybe not their full roster. I mean, imagine they will have had some practice in that regard, but yeah, Loyal Zebra is one of their substitute players, so not going to be a full roster for these guys going into this one. It's going to be an important game, like we touched on the whole seeding point situation for both these guys. You're going to take Apollo off the table, take that one out of the hands of Jermaine. There's still Rom, there's still on her. There's still a lot of other highly contested, high-priority picks coming out for those guys. One of these teams not ban somebody? Never mind, there it goes. Timer on screen a little bit ahead apparently at this point in time. It's unusual. Usually I'm way behind things, but it is in fact Poseidon getting locked in right at that last second. As the final ban of this matchup, Apollo was also banned out, touched it just previously. So, I mean, a couple more picks available. Myrmidons need to find themselves a mid laner and a hunter. Mid laner could of course be a hunter, but Neath was banned out by those guys as well, so I expect to see the mage coming out. Yeah, Ares provides a lot of magical damage. At the same time, you don't want to have that as your only source of magical damage because the other teams as well, they only have Ares. Let's just build physical power and we pretty much kill Ares and not have to worry about anybody else.
I'd expect them to probably go with the Agni here. Poseidon taken off the table, maybe Giannis, especially with the Ra coming through, right? Stunning Ra up and just being able to handle him. Sure, Giannis can portal him down, but he doesn't bring a whole heap to the table. Agni's just a really, really positive matchup, especially when the Poseidon's taken off the table. That's why they're picking up Ra. Poseidon's gone, they can't just pick Poseidon into Ra and totally win that matchup. Giannis, yeah, he does a high amount of late game damage, but Agni just comes online so quick and is able to put a lot of hurt and pressure on towards that Ra. That's what I'd prefer to see.
Actually, that was not a Giannis lock-in. Again, guys, I do apologize for that. It was a Rom lock-in. Sometimes I press the wrong buttons. I usually press the wrong buttons. I don't sort of like the Agni pick into the Ra. Ra is going to be able to outpush him pretty hard and heal the minions back up. Agni relies on the Path of Flames early levels to actually clear the minions out. All Ra has to do is drop down the Solar Blessing and then look to push that lane forward. Again, Giannis is not locked in. That was a switch over to Puch. We have not seen him played yet, but with that Ra pickup just previously, is going to work beautifully. Chaac is getting hovered over right now, and I don't know if I like that pick into that Alpwash.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Chaac into Alpwash either. They could run an Ula. They could look to run the double hunter combo, right? Because what are they into? They're into Hercules. The problem with that is that the kill pressure that Hercules provides, and then the hunter's so far behind and Hercules is on so quickly that it's a real problem. They need to find something to handle it. Chaac can handle Hercules totally fine, but Hercules just has pressure. Like he's relevant throughout the entire game. Chaac, Yeah, he's kind of going to sustain up well, but his team fight pressure is not high, not in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form.
I'm also concerned picking that into the Outwash. His Outwash's 3 Fleeting Breath, it does additional damage per tick of healing taken during the course of it, up to 10 stacks potentially, and it's pretty hard scaling. It's not much. The percentage scaling on it's not a lot. I think it's 10%, but at end game it's 60 damage times potentially 10. If Chaac or Ra or if Chaac is sitting in the middle of that, it's gonna be 600 plus damage he's gonna take from the Outwash 3 if it hits. There's also a stun. 0.5 seconds per heal second, or sorry, it's a 1 second stun plus 0.5%. Try this again. 0.5 seconds per heal, up to a maximum of 3 seconds for a potential 4-second long stun. It's a wordy ability. So Chaac potentially.
No, it's stun duration of a maximum of 3 seconds, not 4 seconds.
Okay, so 2 additional stacks, or two
Yeah,
additional seconds, a
4.
total of 3. Sometimes words and math and stuff. It's a long stun is the point I'm trying to get to. Chaac is going to very easily hit that point if Fleeting Breath is on him.
And Ra.
And Ra
and
as
Sylvanus.
well. I can believe it glossed over the Sylvanus pick up there as well. Outwash is going to work beautifully against this team comp just with the Sylvanus and Ra. Never mind the fact that Chaac is going to have issues all on his own with it. Xbalanque, lifesteal is affected by it. Nemesis ticks off the Retribution Shield are going to be affected by that as well. Every single person on the side of Moonmen is going to have issues with Outwash. The saving grace, so to speak, of that Outwash pick from Moonmen is the fact that Outwash is very Anubis-like. He's immobile. He doesn't have escapes. He doesn't have movement speed abilities. He's out of position, and Nemesis gets up close and personal with those slows getting applied. He will die. There's no way he's getting away from that gang from Nemesis.
The benefit of the Outwash here, aside from just the 3-second duration stun onto multiple members, is Sylvanus has got no gap close. He's gonna have to pick up a blink. Chaac, he's just got the axe, right? Once he's in, he's in. But Ra has got no gap close as well. He's got no way of getting in, out. There's nothing. So they're gonna be able to get onto Ra, and they're gonna be, if he's stuck in the middle of the Unleash the Crypts, he's stuck. There's nothing he can do. He's probably gonna die. He's forced to sit there and try and heal, but then you just throw the exploding corpses at him, and he's just like, oh, what am I gonna do? Fleeting Breath is gonna make sure that I'm stunned up. That's a problem.
Yep, there's the Fleeting Breath. He can set up the Corpse Explosion below an Ares pole, so when they land, they're going to take that full-on Corpse Explosion with extra damage. They have to empty the Crypts as well. You want to run away? Well, guess what? These little ghosties are in your path, and they're doing damage to you and slowing you, and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So, it's the first time we're going to be seeing Outwash in Challenger Cups. Picked up once or twice to varying effect in the SPL. We'll see how Tynes plays it out of the mid lane in this game. It's going to be Myrmidons up against the Moonmen here in just about 2 minutes, guys. Stick around. We'll see you in just a few. Alright guys, welcome back. It's time for Myrmidons to face off against Moonmen in this first game of the finals. Probably the late Myrmidons, because that's the proper full-on team name this time around. One clarification I want to make. The Outwash, Fleeting Breath, his 3, apparently doesn't actually stun off of actual lifesteal. It's basically any other possible source of healing in the game. Death Soul, Watcher's Gifts, what's the other sort? Vampiric Shroud, Watcher's Gift, the Amazon Cob, Hives, anything else but lifesteal, apparently, if it gives you back health. Maybe not potions. Anything but potions, possibly in lifesteal, will actually cause that heal extra damage and the stun effect to increase, so. My mistake, I missed during picks and bans.
Might not have got the sight off on towards Myrmidons, so they might have got the sight, they might not have, but Moonmen definitely into an Ares. You don't want to group up in the jungle and just give him that free first blood. It's just like, alright, we'll just play safe. There's no reason to even be here. We're going to be totally safe. We're going to be totally fine. Perfect play from them. Wanted to see that straight up. Alright, now that we've seen that, let's go down through these lineups. Jordan, take us away with Myrmidons.
Yep, it's going to be Mogao playing Hercules over in that solo lane. Shock Smash in the jungle as Thor. Tynes with the first appearance we've seen on stream for the Challenger Cup. Playing Outwash. Darda is going to be rocking Ares over in that dual lane, backing up Jermaine, who's playing Rama as their hunter.
Well, on the right-hand side of things, your red health bars, Moonmen have got the Chaac from Appointed Gnome, and the solo Phalas is going to be on the Nemesis in the jungle. Mid lane, Rapio playing the brightest of ideas he may have never had on the Ra. In the support, the Guardian Rail, King Toad coming through on the Sylvanus, and then finally, Loyal Zebra is going to be subbing in for this one to fill us up with the Xbalanque.
Yep, so as these guys arrive in the lane, mid lane as would be expected, Outwash not going to have that initial wave clear against Ra, who's able to heal his minions back up. What kind of silly shenanigan stuff is that? Right hand side, Mogo actually taking a decent bit of poke from not only the minions but Appointed Gnome. That Nemesis Chaac wave clear just proven to be a little too much early on, but he's Hercules. Mitigate wounds will be ticking very frequently to get his health bar back all the way up to full. Mid lane, Phaley is rotating over, hitting that wave up as they're going to look for the back Harpy steal.
Yeah, this is pretty much expected. You've got Rapier on a Ra, he's able to heal up those waves you mentioned, shove it in. This is where you expected Tines to be, under this tower as long as possible in the early portion of the game. And with that Thor not rotating early enough, free Harpy Stamp, that's just some good planning from the side of moonmen. They knew exactly what they want, get it straight out of there. Good planning, good setup, good job.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting trade-off. Rod in mid lane is going to, you want him online a little bit more quickly. So fight kind of breaks out. Shotgun's mission a bit of a bad spot right now, taking a lot of poke, a lot of damage. Outwash, trying to use those corpses to zone out as best he possibly can. The solo laner is losing a wave or so of experience, even falling a single level behind. Chaac versus Hercules, there's really next to no kill potential between the two of those guys. Chaac, they both started with the Bluestone Pendant, Hand of the Gods on Chaac. He's not worried about the wave clear, so losing a wave of experience with Thor sharing an extra 1 or 2 isn't really that big of a deal. Mid lane, giving that extra wave onto Phaley, however, to Rapio is a big deal. Tyne's going to use the corpses off his 1 to get that first kill of the game. First blood going over to him. There's a double check. Undead Surge, that's the one. Billy names, new gods. Undead Surge.
Undead Surge and the Corpse Explosion. Yep. You wouldn't think it. You look at it and you'd say, oh yeah, somebody's come up with a funky name for that number 2, but no, it's literally just Corpse Explosion.
Yeah, it's what's worse than having a corpse run your general direction. They're like icky and decaying and stuff like that, but then suddenly they explode, so he's like, you thought you dodged the side, and suddenly it's just like you have like corpse guts all over you, and it's like, gross. I don't want this. It's not fun.
He's scary, man. I don't want to look at him.
Wash off in the fountain a little bit, maybe.
I'd much rather look at that new god they released. Have you heard of how fun he is to look at? What's that fun name again? Some people call him OP Squirrel.
Rattata?
Rattata?
I think he's number 13 or 17.
Or is he the Raticate?
No.
Because he's not purple.
Raticate's kind of ugly.
Oh, Thor's going to take this guy from Shock and Smash. He's going to look to come in down and towards the mid lane. What are they going to be able to find? Dartis doesn't find chain number 1. King Toad gets stunned up, and wow, look at that. They've got the Outwash ultimate ticket through, but can they find a kill?
Empty Crypts will go away. Rapier now looking for the double kill and the cleanup. Rama up in the air trying to find damage onto Rapier right now. Tynes will survive, but the damage was done. It's 2 kills for 2 in this mid lane. Hercules with the rotation from that solo lane arrives in time to get Rapier before he's able to get back under that tower. Or actually, even thinking about running back towards his base. He was a bit far forward in that one. Yeah, that was a bit of a messy team fight. King Toad had the Wrath of Terror. All 3 members of the mid lane from Myrmidons were in position to be knocked up by it. But he was locked down by Crouchel for so long. By the time he was able to get it off, Myrmidons had just dumped every single ability they had in the middle of the fight. And then the Empty the Crypts from Outwash was just doing damage to everybody in that lane.
Look at that straight up from Tynes. The fleeting breath, right? The stuns that he was able to get out of that. Sylvanus can't heal. If King Toad ever heals, they're gonna get a maximum duration stun out of Tynes.
Yeah.
That's insane onto every single member he tags with that fleeting breath.
And Ra, and Chaac, and the Nemesis. Not the Xbalanque as we discussed earlier. Everybody else, that fleeting breath can be an absolute nightmare to be on the receiving end of. He can also potentially look to pick up Divine Runes. So not only am I going to stun you, I'm going to prevent you from healing up a large portion of that damage you're going to do. I mean, it's really the only place that can put it on. They'll need some sort of anti-healing going forward in this game. I mean, double healers, you need to make sure. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Weakening Curse as well as a Divine Rune as well, the way the team comp is looking. They're going to have a lot of sustain later on in this matchup. There's so much inside the movement. Myrmidons, I think, are going to need to get anti-healing online, probably by about the 15-minute mark. Otherwise, the healing is going to start to really be a factor in these, you start grouping up for Gold Furies and stuff like that. Their health bars are just never going to drop, and the poke they're going to be throwing out will be sticking on the side of the Myrmidons because they don't have the healing on their side.
Empty the Crypts is burned on the Gold Fury to try and make sure that they get through this nice and quickly, and Myrmidons are going to pick that one up first time. Down goes the Darkest of Nights. No stun's going to be procced off onto anyone of the Myrmidons, and they get an early Gold Fury as well, so early advantage is all in their favor, but Tynes is caught in the mid lane.
Yep, the snipe connects from Rod. Phaley's will clean that one up. That's the problem with Tynes, Outwash. I almost said Anubis, because that's basically who he is as far as mobility is concerned. A good god, a good bit of damage, good bit of utility in the case of Outwash. The problem is, if you're even slightly out of position, it can be punished very much like we just saw. So going forward, he needs to make sure he's not pushed too far forward, or he's going to do that. He has to kind of hug the other side of the lane a little bit and just make sure nobody can sneak up and get close. And old Nemesis, double dashes, plus the slow off the slice and dice. She can do that from a decent bit away, sneaking around the corner.
Expect our Puch to have 2 wards up all times during this game. Expect Hercules to pick up bonus wards for him as well in the mid lane to ensure that they get that early rotation. They're gonna constantly look to have 3 to 4 wards around that mid lane to ensure that our Puch can farm up. And he struggles to farm up. Alright, we got the early advantage. Let's just buy a bunch of wards and let him farm totally for free. If he does that, boom, that's a big problem. And it's counterintuitive when you look at, oh, Tynes is actually going aggressive here.
No escape coming in on this one. He's going to be trying to run for his life. His health bar is dropping. Thales cleans that kill up as well. It's now 2v3. Berserker Barrage coming in from Chaac and Smash to do some damage. As the heal comes down, they might look for a little bit more poke, but these guys should be free and clear. Snipe across the wall, not going to connect. And Mogal, while he's blocked off for the moment, he'll be able to drive and strike back under his tower like he just did. He's going to get out. Maybe not. Grab it comes in. I misspoke on that. Thales cleaning up yet another one, sitting 4-2-1 right now on that Nemesis.
Curse is curse. He's gonna get away. Snare and grab. King Toad making himself worth at the moment.
Yep, that is for sure. Mid lane tier 1 tower is about to go down. If it does, that basically just made the laning phase or the remainder of it for Tynes just that much worse. He now lost protection of that tier 1 tower. The number of jungle openings now for Thales to rotate around that Nemesis just went up by 2. It's basically, there was 4 you had to watch out for. Realistically, he could throw down 2 wards and cover 3 of those 4 routes into his lane. Now he has 6 to worry about. He pushes too far forward. Even where he is right now, he's very, very risky position. They know Nemesis isn't going to be ganking at this point in time, but if he does this again in a minute or 2, Thales could definitely jump on it and kill him for it.
Yeah, so he's going to have to manage things. He's probably going to have to start picking up all the back cams solo as soon as that mid lane starts to get a fair bit shoved up. So keep that in the back of your mind, that as soon as Tynes shoves up, he can't go near this mid lane. He just cannot get anywhere near this mid lane. It's just way, way, way too risky. So he's going to play passive from now on. Hasn't picked up a stacking item, that's crucial. If moonmen decide to freeze, yep.
That's probably for the best. Probably the other benefit to him as well is Ra is very, very good at clearing waves. Celestial Beam, the wave dies. He's not going to be sitting there. He's probably not going to freeze the lane at all because it's just not that beneficial to him at this point. Tynes, you can see right now, he's more than happy to sit between these 2 mid-harpy camps. He's not too worried about the possible ganks. They have the vision down across the map right now. You see Thales crosses a ward. He's immediately backing up a little bit farther forward. But they did just drop a sentry ward to remove some of the vision because they know the wards are going to be placed just around the corner of those mid-harpy pits.
Yeah, play and then counterplay. That's good pickups and good awareness from Moonmen. They knew that the Puch is going to need those wards in and around those mid-campy camps. Let's get rid of them. Very good play. I was just about to point out before that they put those sentry wards down. Look at the line of wards. There's like a line of scrimmage that they've set up across the map saying, hey, if you cross this line, we're going to know exactly where you are. Every single entrance to that section of the map is warded. We know exactly where that's going down. You can't do that.
Dart is midlane, getting caught, gonna find a double pull up and no escape. Can they follow up? No, End of Dawn from Chaac and Smash rains on down this one. They're answering back damage. Now they need to turn this fight into a victory.
Yeah, but Empty the Crypts is coming through from Tynes. He's looking to find what he can. He's got Mogal on the backside. Phalas will finally pick up Darters, but Tynes has got King Toad. So it's support for support, but Shock and Smash to find one. Lamago find another, and now it's onto a point of no.
Yep, he's now up in the air. Stormcall comes down. The silence applied to a number of people, but will it get him out alive? He's going to throw the axe across the wall for the option. He's going to be able to make it back to this tier 1 tower as they head for the mid-harpy camps instead. That was probably like the perfect usage of that Empty the Crypts in the middle of a lane. They cut off the retreat option. Sylvanus, you saw him trying his best to just get out of that damage. I mean, all those little ghosts flying all over the place. He just could not get away. The slow stacks up to, I believe, I want to say 90%, 70%. Can actually cheat the tooltip on this one. 7, 8, so 56% slow. That is pretty devastating. It lasts for 2 seconds in addition to that. So potentially an 8-second slow overall as the slow starts to pick up little by little. And we saw it there. Cut off the option. They can't retreat back through it. They're going to take damage and get slowed down themselves. Sylvanus caught in the middle of it, stuck, and not able to do anything. And a big part of that reason that fight turned around was because of that positioning of the Empty the Crypts. Because just part of that, Darters was pretty much just caught to rights. Caught and dead.
Yeah, that was just some really, really nice turning as well from Myrmidons. They were like, okay, you're going to continue to dive. We don't have this mid lane tower here. What have we got? We've got the Puch ulti, the Empty the Crypts, right? We're going to zone you off. If you want to come back this way, it's incredibly unsafe to go any other routes. We're zoning off the only safe route. You're forced to walk through it a lot slower, take a bunch of damage that you cannot avoid by walking through there. That's huge. Next big contestation point is going to be this Gold Fury, and our Puch ultimate, it just reigns supreme in that Gold Fury pit.
I mean, the lanes are typically where you have room to maneuver on the Conquest map. And right there, you saw Empty the Crypts covers the entire thing. It's just like, oh, you know, it reaches the width of the lane. It's like it's a wide area cut off. Basically, like they're gonna center map on it, where that lovely little light area is, where that tier 1 tower used to stand. That's pretty much the size of Empty the Crypts. It is a massive, massive area of effect.
Yeah, and if you change the angle of it, as you saw Tynes did as well in that last fight, so it's going directly across that wave, if they try to get it... Oh, actually, Thor's taking the sky.
Where is he going to end up going? That's the question. He's going to drop down onto Hercules, who right now is going to use that Retribution Shield to absorb a lot of damage. Not going to get pulled in by that ultimate from Ares. As the Stormcloak comes out, Empty the Crypts drop down once again. Very good placement on that. In the back, though, Shotgun Smash. Loyal Zebra able to chase down that kill. Gonna drop immediately after Jermaine.
Yeah, but the fight's going to continue to chase around. Mogo's on the backside. He did get the ultimate off and a bunch of damage. Jermaine with the snipe to come through from the Astral Barrage. He's now landed back again and can return to DPS phase. I'm not sure if you'll be able to burn through King Toad.
That body block is coming in from a point to Gnome, wanting to make sure that King Toad can get out alive if possible. They're looking to give chase. Will they have that follow-up damage? The dot from Fleeting Breath was ticking, but it will not find the kill. It's going to be a risky Gold Fury attempt right now by these guys. King Toad is nearby. Blink, however, is on cooldown, so we'll have to stroll on in with less than 300 health. That would likely just mean his demise. He's going to go back to base, not even think about stealing this one away.
Oh, and look at the damage from Tynes as well. He's trying to zone out a point at Gnome and failures. They won't get the pluck over the wall from the Hercules. Gold Fury going to the Myrmidons. But Tynes, he's not quite done yet.
That corpse explosion on the back of the Undead Scourge, enough to secure that kill. He is very much coming online at this point, just the shoes of the Magi, and that level lead that he has. He's sitting up and pretty right now with Mogao for level 14 apiece. 2 levels, 1 level actually on the back of Chaac, but they are very much ahead. Is he top damage? By quite a large margin. He's sitting over 4,000 ahead right now, about a 40% lead over anybody else in the game. We're only at the 13-minute mark.
Yeah, able to scale up. That's 2 Gold Furies. He's been able to secure them. His burst, like, trading off, right? Your damage goes off, but your damage, sorry, goes up, but you lose mobility for it. That's the trade-off that you're doing by picking up Puch. You have the potential to zone heavily, but if you do use him to get up front and look for the zone out on those objective fights, and the health bars aren't low enough for the opposition, they could just turn and kill you.
A little bit of a chase on Jermaine over in that dual lane as how Shotgun Smash comes in with the Anvil of Dawn. King Toad uses Wrath Terror to respond to that one. Wall, he is blocked off and gonna be pulled in to nowhere because Shotgun Smash already got that kill, but Phaley's answers back.
Yeah, Shotgun Smash obviously just dropped, and now it's going to be Rapio rotating over. Zebra has got the chains and the burn ticking on towards him. Dada is forced to run away, as well as Jermaine, because of that raw rotation. And Rapio there just in time to save his teammates out. A little bit of something for the Moonmen, but what's the next objective to be taken? There's so many members on this left-hand side of the map.
Tier 1 towers, really the only thing left standing at this point in time. It's a little early for Fire Giant to really be a consideration for these guys. They can start to look to group for these Tier 1 towers, though. The siege coming out of Myrmidons, the outwash range with the Undead Scourge into a Corpse Explosion is pretty huge. It's really good for zoning effect. You talked about it at that Gold Fury. Even just, send your corpses in. They have to clear them out unless if you leave them sitting there, that's just extra damage for outwash to detonate with the Corpse Explosion in a little while, or whenever he pleases for that matter. So it's extra bodies on the map, essentially, body blocking abilities and in-hands. Getting caught out 1v4 in the jungle, probably still not going to be the best situation to find yourself in. There was no saving him that time, unfortunately, for Dardes. But it is what it is. Yeah. They're trying to get some damage in the tier 1. They would say they're welcome a little bit much too long is what it came down to. Be unfortunate, but Gold Fury's down, so it's not really the end of the world that the sport just fell.
Yeah, no, and down for another 2 minutes 30 as well. They're comfortable to leave that one go. And Tynes is starting to get into this phase. He's got he rushed to Gem of Isolation, so his burst damage on single targets is incredibly high. And that first target that he fights in the middle of a fight is just going to take so much damage. That's a huge risk. That's a big item pickup. So the other thing that it offers is it makes him incredibly tanky as well. We mentioned he may not be able to stack a Warlock Slash, but this offers it's kind of a mid ground without needing to stack. It's not quite as much, but it's just enough.
I like the Gem of Isolation pickup though. It's like I do all this stuff. Why not also slow people a little bit in the process of it? It's like, health, it's mana. It's a decent item all around for him. I want to talk about the wards, though. They're starting to fall off at this point in time, but there's a lot of sentry wards being placed by both these teams. Myrmidons needs to clear out those wards just to make sure that moonmen aren't able to counter ward and remove those wards. They need to remove the sentry wards moonmen are placing. But they're placing those sentry wards down to remove the regular wards to try and be able to catch Tines out in a bad position. I mean, you can see him. The tier 1 tower fell about 6-7 minutes ago. He's still sitting in the middle of the map like it's there. He doesn't care. They're not actually able to shut him down or stop him. A good part of that's the wards, but they're not pressuring him out at all.
Now they're actually going to look for failures if they can find him. He's forced to drop the Nemesis ultimate, and Thor's going to take to the side, trying to get in here. Tines did get hit by that Rara ultimate, and now the Wisps are ticking on him. He was forced to drop the ultimate before he dropped, but this fight's continuing. Yeah,
that's a good empty the crypt. We'll stop a potential chase from Moonman. They answered back. They got the kill on the King Toad. Probably won't be able to find anything else in the back of this one. They can see both teams kind of disengage a little bit. Moonmen still have a couple abilities online, whereas actually all ultimates except the excavate from Hercules, who's slowly making rotation from that solo lane over to the middle of the map. Phales gets caught out by Dardes, but as soon as those shackles fall off, the cripple's gone. Phales disengages completely, knowing that Hercules was on his way over. So yeah, I mean, that's the problem with Puch. We saw it right there. He was kind of caught out, locked down. He was in a bad position to start the fight. He was able to stay alive for a little while, but as soon as they were able to kind of, he was separated, he was trying to run away, maybe held on to the empty of the crypts a little too long there. If he had dropped it in that, by the mid-harpy pit between, like, we're in the jungle where it was like all tight, close quarters initially, that might have gone differently, but he held on to it, he was looking for a more favorable position, and they were able to chase him down and kill him. That's how you punish Puch. He's so immobile, you need to be looking to lock him down and punish him. But like I was touching on, the ward coverage everywhere and the counter ward coming out from Myrmidons to make sure they don't have, you know, the central wards aren't there. It's just such a heavy gold investment from wards right now. I mean, we're 17 minutes into the game, and we're at something like 3 wards a minute right now looking at the ward chart, the ward graph. It's kind of crazy compared to what we're used to. And these are all sentry wards for the most part as well. It's not even just other regular wards.
Gold Fury's come online, so it's going to be the next point of contention. Down goes... Did I see a Heavenly Agility? I did. It was coming through from Puch as well. He's picked up a Heavenly Agility. That's telling you how safe he needs to play.
It makes a lot of sense. It's a little bit extra utility. Myrmidons are not looking to fight every 60 seconds. It's not a case of, oh, the sprint will work out better for me. Yeah, it's up more quickly. But it not only affects the entire team. If it happens to be down, they have a second one on Hercules as like a backup Heavenly Agility. And then they can also look to make use of that effect just to, you know, chase down people, escape from fights. It gives them that much more control in the fight. Point to know I'm in a little bit of trouble. I'm going to use a Storm Call to make sure he's not going to get locked down by crowd control. There's that stun coming in. Wait for it. Wait for it. There he goes. Finally able to move away.
But Thor's going to take this guy and look for a fight. They're starting to poke down King Toad. He's the first focus. They get so much CC on towards him. He's burst out immediately. Next focus from the guys on the side of Myrmidons. Getting chains on towards Phalers. And look at the burn damage from Dardes. Who are they going to pick on next?
Oh, nobody for the moment, at least. I wouldn't expect... Yeah, there's Tines going on zoning duty already. There, you see him laying down those corpses, looking to zone these guys out. I wouldn't mind seeing Loyal Zebra actually pick those off if nothing else is going on. Leaving them sitting there, it's essentially a landmine ready to be detonated at any point Tines so chooses. You can also look to pick them up, get some mana, get some health back as well. So, you take them out. Take them out when you have a moment, and then you don't have to worry about them later on.
Let's start to talk about mid to late game portions of these comps. We're through that early game portion of the game. Is actually Loyal Zebra is going to get chased out on the left-hand side and totally zoned away from defending this tier 1 left-hand side tower, which will fall with the damage from Jermaine. And they're not quite done with this one. The axe is going to land on towards Tines and taken as a point at home.
They're looking to chase this guy down. If they can find him, it will work out quite well. They're looking for the grab from King Toad, but they're not going to find it. Wrath Terror on the other two, however. As Thor comes down from the skies, King Toad low on health. Jermaine cleans it up. Empty the crypts for some damage, as well as denying any further chase. Pointed Gnome! Not a great spot to teleport into.
Yeah, but he had to do something. He was right about to die. Phalers comes into the backline. Dardes will pick up one more, but Phalers finally finds Tines. He's going to find Dardes here in a second as well. Jermaine was looking for Loyal Zebra, not quite able to find it. Finally gets the slice and dice through Dardes to pick him up, and the tumble back forwards from Jermaine. What can he find on towards Phalers, or is Phalers going to find him? It is the slice and dice. Triple kill for Phalers, and he's starting to come online, but Thor's respawned.
He's on his way back. There's the stun coming in. That's the middle of the Swift Vengeance as well. That's interrupted. The slow is going to come out. The Tower teleport and a spin to win. Gonna answer one back. 3 for 4 overall. Going in favor of Myrmidons with that final cleanup kill. But something was going on elsewhere on the map while that was all going on. And that whole entire fight was a 4v5, if you didn't notice. There are now a distinct lack of towers in that right lane for Moonmen.
Oh, God, Mogo, what did you do? What
Tier
have
1.
you done, son?
Tier 2. Both removed from the map.
He's
So
Hercules. You can't leave him alone with any structure. He just picks it up and throws it.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it works.
If he gets angry, go to plan B. I have this very large club, chair. What does he have in the other ones? Surfboard? What's the beach Hercules have? Oh, the weight?
Dumbbell.
Dumbbells. Dumbbell will
Yeah.
work quite just as well. Just, swing it around, break the tower apart piece by piece. It works. Baseball bat, sometimes it does the job as well. So some options for him as far as removing structures. You see the graph. It was a pretty close team fight, but, Gold Fury, pair of towers. That was a 4,000 gold swing while that was all going on in favor of Myrmidons.
Oh, that's brutal. Gold Fury, tier 1 tower left, tier 2 and tier 1 right lane. So much gold picked up across the map for them. And they're getting in towards this latter phase of the game as well. Thor's going to start to fall off. He's not as strong, but look at that last fight. 3-man ultimate come down, stunned up 3.
Yeah, I'm curious. It's an interesting build. I don't necessarily mind so much the Brawler's Beatstick pickup, given the fact they have so much healing on the other side. It's not the usual build. He has no Magi's Blessing either, so any crowd control coming down, which, to be fair, there's not much of it. Darks of Nights, and then you have the Roots and knockup from Sylvanus, and that's really about it. There's some slows and the knockup from the supercharged Stormcall on Chaac, but there's really no hard crowd control coming off that Moonman lineup, and the majority of it is on ultimates. So he doesn't need the Magi's Blessing. You see the Spirit Robe coming out as a defensive item. Typically, that Spirit Robe on Thor would be a Magi's Blessing instead to avoid crowd control, but he doesn't need it. So.
Not really, and the Heavenly Agility going to be popped out from the Myrmidons as they look to engage. Mogo goes back to zoning duty on Pointed Gnome, and they get the stun, they get some damage!
Up in the air, Dardas finds that kill into Rapio. Empty the Crypts is down. They are so slow right now. King Toad running for his life, but Jermaine's going to be easily clean that kill off. King Toad, or Tynes rather, finds the kill just before that over onto Rapio. With only a Pointed Gnome left standing, it's going to be a pretty easy Fire Giant attempt for these guys. Shock and Specialist, be careful. Maybe you may want to pull back towards the other side of the map. Oh, excuse me, there's a Phales in the corner of the screen, looking to just cause some havoc, but was spotted out as well.
Yeah, now the focus going over towards a Pointed Gnome. They're going to try and burn through him as quick as possible. It's definitely Dardes doing the work on that one. Who's taking the sky? It is Thor. He's going to look for an engage. Will it be Phales? Will it be a Pointed Gnome? It's zoned at this point in time. Slams down, and now to force to back off. But they're still on this Fire Giant.
King Toad has respawned. It's going down very slowly for the time being. They may not actually have time to complete this right now. If a Pointed Gnome and Phales both head on in there, could once again force the reset and stop this from occurring, but they need to go in just about now, and they are doing exactly that. They need to look for the steal, but they cannot do it. Myrmidons will secure it. Pointed Gnome finds a kill, though. They can lock down 1 or 2 more. It could be worth it overall. Pointed Gnome, though, lock down the damage off of Tynes. Just took a huge chunk out of that health bar.
And Phales isn't all that healthy as well over towards the mid lane. Finally, they're going to back off this one. Saw a Fire Giant in hand. They trade 1 for 1, but able to pick up that Fire Giant. You're going to take that any day of the week, no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm. This isn't a bad situation at all. Yeah, it's unfortunate Dardas won't be able to, quote-unquote, go in and tank up all the objectives. Look at Hercules' build. He's going to be the one they have tank up those towers. He has the Mystical Mail, he has that Hide Nemean Lion. He is tanky against physical damage, and there's no doubt about that. Yes, Nemesis with the Divine Judgment will rip a big part of that away. But as soon as he's there and that gets used up, what's going to happen? Dardas, Ghost Sword, blink in, no escape on anyone even remotely close nearby, force the beads, do all that nasty stuff that hurt areas that blink no escape causes, and then you have Hercules tanking up all that tower damage quite happily in the back, and then you can reset the aggro, and a little bit of his health bar starts dropping too rapidly. So, these team fights, they lost the Fire Giant belt on one of the frontliners, but they have one who can do the job just as well.
Yeah, Phales is going to be important, like, as this starts to go later and later. This Fire Giant buff, they're not going to be able to fight them from the side of Moonmen, but as soon as this one starts to fall off, they need to get some items going. Zebra's starting to come online. He's only got 1 passive stack, though, but they're going to get tankier and tankier. The problem is that a Pointed Gnome does nothing, but Hercules does. Oh, Dardes.
That's going to be a pull on the Phales. He's not getting that one alive. That's the rough thing against Ares. If your beads are down, in that case, they were just about off cooldowns. Like 2, 1, and I got pulled in. I didn't get to use it before him. That is unfortunate. Now with the burst damage coming out of that composition, we saw what happened right there. Tier 2 tower left lane about to fall, and will. It's now all down to the Phoenixes, and 4v5. It's going to be a rough defense for these guys.
Rough it is, but look at that no escape from Dardis as well. Blink it, a Wrath of Terror, they're gonna go. Thor, what's up? He's now slammed back down. Zebra's in the backline, he's not where he really wants to be, and they unleash the Crips right across the tower. They kill off the enemy Hunter, and what else are they looking for?
That King Toad using the massive amounts of healing to actually stay alive in that fight. The Earthbreaker pulls the Pointed Gnome back in. Not entirely sure what pulled him exactly, but he moves someplace very, very quickly. Driving Strike perhaps. Ron goes up in the air, looking to good kill on the Rapio. Gonna find the kill. 3 snipes connect for that damage. It's all only King Toad left as Hercules does respawn. Looking to keep him alive. The fountain healing is ticking away. Will it be enough? No, it will be not. Jermaine picks up the triple kill, and the Titan is being aggressed right now by Myrmidons. Hercules trying to force them back out, but Mogal says, no, sir.
Baylor's in a world of hurt, and that's just Mogal beating on him. Titan already at 50% health, and this is going to be game 1 of your grand finale, going as soon as they pick up Hercules. They couldn't not kill Hercules before they killed the Titan. They needed a stat pad. They stat pad some more. They kill off the Titan. Your Frenchmen, the Myrmidons, are going to take game number 1 from the moonmen.
Yep, good play by those guys. Pulling out the outwash. Every once in a while, you get those, people's like, oh, Odin. They picked 3 healers with no escapes. And you see that Odin pop up in the boards like, oh my god, that happened. They pulled that one out. It's kind of what happened here. Outwash, not necessarily like an Odin's like shut down all the healers, anti-mobility guys, but Tines, that Outwash worked really well against his team composition. Handful of guys with no proper escape abilities, a lot of guys with the healing, and just Outwash on his own does a fair bit of burst damage, even against a normal team comp. They just were not able to punish that lack of mobility on Outwash quite enough to shut him down.
Ladies and gentlemen, Outwash, 0% win rate in the SPL, but Challenger Cup, that's a totally different story. 100% win rate. That's 100%. 1 out of 1 game. I don't know, we'll be making it 2 out of 2 games in just a few minutes, or is it going to be a band off the table? Moonmen, they've got something to decide. Myrmidons, well, maybe they've got something else in reserve. You'll find out right here on Smite Game 2 with the Grand Finals continuation of the Challenger Cup from EU.